So we are here today to introduce to you the best show that's going to be on YouTube from past, present, and the future. We are here on the congregation couch. I am the P.I.M.P, aka the Presidential Intellectual Masculinity Perceived. This is my comrade and partner in crime and doing things that rhyme, Pastor Marquise Combs.
Appreciate that introduction, man. God created mankind, so everything was good already. And then, while everything was good, he decided to create mankind in his own image.
His own image. We're going to start it off from the very beginning on what I believe to be what started all the simp things going on, the anti-pimp way, the anti-dip on your chip way, you know what I'm saying? The things that get you where you want to go, get you in your move, in your groove. Adam fell us all, baby, and I'm here to let y'all know that the pimp way is on the way. You understand me? This 1100 famous, I'm saying right here with this pimping pass. You know what I'm saying? This dip on my chip go long, understand me?
It go long.
It go long and strong, understand me, Pastor? Go long and strong, huh, baby?
We still,
you understand me,
this
Pastor?
guy right here, he still
understand me,
we got to pray. We got to pray just to make it today.
We got to pray just to make it today.
I own food with them canteen of things, I eat them thick chips, you understand me? I like a lot of dip, Pastor.
Maggi onion soup and Nestle reduced cream for the freshest, creamiest dip.
A whole lot of dip on my chip.
We're going to try to get back to this verse. He showed out every now and then. We got to wait on him sometime, but we're going to get back to the word.
So, hey, I let them scoop, Pastor.
Verse 2. Verse 2. That's what happened when the word try to go forth. Somebody always trying to talk.
Hey, big grab, Pastor. Hey, you know the big grab?
We never know how the show gonna go. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna give him a moment.
Big grab, Pastor. Hey, Pastor, all of
Lord help. Verse 2.
We're all of them, Pastor. All of it.
Verse 2.
Understand me?
There's a scripture that says, "What profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?"
This is a lesson for y'all simps out here as far as the perspective of keeping your whole organization in order, understand me? When you start simping, aka within the context of a man and a woman, Pastor, when you start trying to chase your woman and validate her and please her, what you don't understand, simp, is you actually putting that woman above the Lord. You don't know that in the time, but that's what you're doing. You know what's going to happen? You guaranteed to lose the woman. You're going to lose the woman because you put the woman above the Lord. So if
Without
you go,
divine order.
Understand me?
Yeah.
So the Lord going to take her from you. You think you're doing the right thing by worshiping her and laying out the red carpet for no reason whatsoever. She ain't earned none of that. You just doing because you feel like it's the right thing to do, and the Lord go take you from her. I ain't seen one simp out here right now, Pastor, who is still winning. Every simp right now in 2022, Pastor, taking L's, big L's, Pastor. They losing everything they got, including the woman. Understand me?
If at any moment your voice raises to a higher octave than a bass, you are no longer pimping, you simping.
Is it just about the voice, or is it what? Sometimes
I mean, I use the voice as an analogy. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you gotta be loud and thunderous. Understand me?
I mean, a roar and a scream is two different things. You understand me?
Hey, that's a good analogy, pimp.
You hear me?
That's a good analogy, church. A roar and a scream is two different things. Understand me? That roar go come from deep in the belly. Understand me?
Yeah, I love to hear a man roar. What a man roar, whatever made me sit down somewhere. You hear me?
Like a lion.
You know, and if you know me, you understand me. It's a little hard to make me sit down somewhere. But if I hear Mufasa.
Mufasa.
Yeah, Mufasa. I'm used to sit my ass down somewhere.
Just tingles me.
Yeah, something about that does something to me. Yes, Lord.
All right, man. We in here back yet again. Got a great subject for y'all tonight. Understand me? If you can hear me loud and clear, yet again, put a one in the chat. Starting on time tonight. Understand me? Had a little difficulty get my videos on, but if you can see me and hear me, put a one in the chat. Understand me? Coming through crispy and clear. Understand me? Make sure we're good to go before we get it started. All right. Do a little sound check. Understand me? Understand me? Dip on your chip. Yeah, I think we sounding real good, y'all. See how it sound on my end. Yep, sound good, looking good. We can go ahead and get right on into the show. Understand me? Yeah, buddy. Looking good. All right, so tonight is basically we're gonna really deep dive into what is basically all the tools you need to get a healthy relationship. Understand me? A lot of people misunderstand this love thing, myself included, for a short spiel, for a short period of time. I didn't understand this kind of logic whatsoever. But once I figured it out, it pretty much all the issues I could have potentially had, past, present, future, when dealing with the opposite sex, pretty much all those issues ceased to exist. Like literally, I would say almost overnight. Once I really figured out how to implement and deep dive into these subjects and really go down through there as far as getting the things I need to get in order to create and fortify and fortitude the kind of relationships I want. Understand me? So with that said, we're gonna go ahead and dive into these topics. If you want to join the conversation, the link should be pinned up at the top. Don't hesitate. Everybody's welcome. So we're going to go ahead and define what is sexual polarity. There is a book I read called 3% Man. It goes real deep and heavy on the term sexual polarity. And it really gets down through there as far as the granular definitions. Tonight, we're going to touch on it. We're going to speak to it. We're going to kind of elaborate on some of the things I picked up and learned through my understanding of that text. And we're going to speak to how I was able to apply the things I learned, and the people that I know and love were able to apply the things they learned as well. And we can talk about how all those scenarios worked in their favor. Now, basically, sexual polarity is nothing more than the balance between masculine and feminine energy between two human beings. Keyword, two human beings. I didn't say a man and a woman. I didn't say two men. I didn't say two women. I said two human beings. This energy is real. This energy is apparent. It cannot be denied, and it cannot be bargained with or reasoned with. If you do not follow the rules of sexual polarity, you will suffer the consequences. Now, where do these rules come from? These rules are literally derived from the word of God. If you did not know this, or if you were not aware of that, the sexual polarity was established real early on in the Bible. It's pretty much in the book of Genesis when it speaks to Adam and Eve. You have a clear-cut example of what happens when men and women do not follow the rules and regulations of sexual polarity. Nothing in that scenario will happen other than suffering and pain. Now, on tonight's show, we're going to detail some current events, past, present, and future. Not to limit it, and to include some biblical scripture, some of my own personal experiences, and some experiences I know of for as friends and family. We're not going to drop no names, but we will kind of talk to certain situations that are clear-cut examples of what happens when sexual polarity is actually present and what happens when sexual polarity is not. So, to reiterate, sexual polarity is nothing more than the balance between men and women in romantic relationships. It is literally the glue to any romantic relationship. Whether you're aware of it or not, or whether you have it or not, that is the glue. If you do not have that as your foundation, guided by the word of God, whatever spiritual book you choose to read, whether it's the Quran, the Bible, whatever, if you don't know how to have that spiritual basis and you're not allowing it to guide your relationship decisions and all life decisions, and sexual polarity does not exist, you will have some problems. Your relationship may sustain for a short period of time, but it would not sustain forever and it would not last long. And if it does last long, it is more like a kind of you just dealing with it, settling type situation. It is not where you really want to be. It is where you just are for now, and it is what it is. I do not want anybody in that scenario. I want everybody to be living the land of milk and honey. And I want them to really feeling like they got some things going on that they really like and love with a person that they like and love. And we go deep dive in what we actually perceive as love and what actually is love. Sometimes they aren't one and the same. All right, we got a quote said the music a little bit loud, so let me go ahead and turn that down. I was trying to work with that. I was struggling with it over here. Let me go ahead and turn it down. It is louder than normal. You are correct. It's like I usually put it on 10. It was on 11. That one little and we'll notch a little bit, had us a little bit off kilter. So now we should be turned down to about, I got it down to 8 for the reason I can't hit 10 today. 10 is elusive. Oh, there it is. We got 10. We on 10 finally. We should be good now. Text me back again if we still too loud, baby. But thank you for that. I can't hear myself right now. So we're going to go on to the next topic. We already defined sexual polarity. So we're going to go ahead and dive into the next topic. Once again, if you want to chime in, want to make your comments be heard, understand me? Go ahead and hit that link in the description. Let's see, we got a comment. Yeah, we got a number 1. Okay. All right. Okay, so why do people not have polarized relationships? Because nobody is teaching this stuff. I may be the one person you ever see in your life that actually took out the time to learn this and is also taking out the time to teach us. I'm not the only person that teaches this stuff, and I'm not the only person that is aware of it, and I'm not the only person that can articulate it. I learned from someone else myself, right? But the real big reason, the real big logic that people don't now have polarized relationships because everyone thinks they're right nowadays. Nobody's willing to come to grips with the fact that maybe you're wrong. Maybe you just don't know what you're talking about when it comes to life and love. Because I'm a man of results. I'm a results-based man. I've been able to accomplish a pretty good lifestyle and accomplish a pretty good amount of notoriety in my professional and private relationships. I've been able to go from, not being in a very good spot to doing very well for myself. And I also was able to teach other people how to do the same thing. To me, that breeds to, and that speaks to a person who kind of is aware and kind of does know what he's talking about when it comes to certain dynamics. Now, once I accomplish a certain level of success, me personally, my brain is wired up to where failure is not an option for me. I didn't like failing at anything, and that includes dealing with women. And I felt like me accomplishing all these great things with my life financially and personally, to the point to where I can be engaged with a certain caliber of individuals, for me to be dealing with a woman who, quote unquote, will put me in the friend zone, like we spoke to Monday. A woman that we're willing to do that to me, of all guys, a person who's relatively handsome, relatively advanced financially, never been a bad guy, always been a nice guy. But for a person to be in my scenario to where I can live like how you see on this camera and still have women that kind of would shun me, push me to the left, so to speak, or kind of like put me in the category of a guy that she likes to hang around, but not a guy she actually want to be engaged with. For that to happen to me in my scenario, it caused me to rethink everything I thought I knew about life and love. So I started researching. It had to take for me to perceive that I had an issue that needed to be solved. So once I decided that I had an issue that needed to be solved, I sought information to solve the issue. And make no mistake, if you are a person watching this live and you don't have the life you want in love when it comes to dealing with other people of the opposite sex or the same sex, or you don't have the relationship you want romantically, I am talking to you. Especially if you're in our age bracket, especially if you late 30s, early 40s, running on mid 40s, 50s. If you never experienced that true love and happiness, I am talking to you. You need to take heed of these words. You need to process it, and don't get in your mind that this information doesn't apply to you. This information applies to every person on earth. Unless you plan to be alone forever. And hey, and if you're the type of person that wants to be alone forever and you don't want to really have what you consider love or whatnot, then hey, you don't want none of this right here, dip on your chip. You don't want that? Hey, by all means, carry on. But if you want to go ahead and come through there and be feeling good after like bumbleclot, understand me? You're trying to have a good day, all day, every day. You know, you need to take heed these words, take notes, take some direction, and you'll be okay. So basically, the root cause reason why men and women do not experience polarized relationships because they don't understand the need to be polarized in the first place. Most men and women are existing somewhere in the middle. They're not polarized. You don't have a masculine man dealing with a feminine woman most days. Most of the time nowadays, you have a somewhat masculine woman and you have a somewhat feminine man, and those two individuals call themselves trying to figure it out, partnering, so to speak. And the crazy thing about it, and they call themselves friends or whatnot, right? And I looked Monday, I looked long and hard, trying to find Bible verses that reference men and women being friends, and I could not find one verse at all whatsoever that says anything to speak to men and women be friends. It's as if that anomaly doesn't even exist in the Bible, which it doesn't. So I would derive from that a smart human being would come to the conclusion that this friend stuff between men and women ain't really logical because it's not even in the Bible. I don't, and to come to think of it, I'm not even sure that notion came from. Even when I was still simping, I still would say I always was an advocate where I don't have female friends. I never believed in that. Now, would I stay in the friend zone or whatever? And sometimes, you know what? When I got myself in the friend zone, I broke my own rule, right? So I did a simp activity, which I had a standard that I stood on. Even when simping, I said, hey, ain't no such thing as male female friends. But when a little pretty girl came along, I was willing to give that up just because she was cute, or I wanted to help her out, or whatever you want to call it. So I broke my own rules. So we already tapped into why people don't have it, because men ain't masculine, women aren't feminine. So these are broad stroke terms, so we need to get a little more granular. So we're going to actually define it. I may actually look it up right quick. And that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my Googles on, and we need to define what is masculinity. If y'all want to, y'all can go look at Google as well. Excuse me. And we'll see what the good old Webster Google says about the definition of masculinity. Let's just look it up right quick. Don't leave things up to interpretation. Won't take long. Definition of masculinity. That's what I put in Google today, real quick. First one I seen, okay. And I think I just look at characteristics. All right. Characteristics of masculinity, right? And we'll read. It was like one of the top things in Google is Wikipedia. Characteristics that are traditionally viewed as masculine in Western society include strength, courage, independence. Ooh, women use that when independence. They use both of those terms quite often. Women use the words strong and independent a whole lot. And I just got my Googles on, and Google said that's derived from a masculine individual, not a feminine. I'm just reading y'all the words, ladies and gentlemen. All I did was go to Google and search what is the definition of masculinity, and within the first two terms I've seen, strength and independence. And that's like if we're referring to black women in 2022, the first two things they gonna come to mind is strong and independent. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all a story or two about that strong independent woman. That is a pathway to loneliness and misery. Guaranteed. Because you're not in your proper energy. You never find the man you want being proud of being strong and independent. Ever. Let me say that again, ladies. You will never in life get the man you want trying to be strong and independent. Now, you don't have to follow this advice. You don't have to listen to what I'm saying. But I'm just telling you what it is. All I did was look on logic exists. Just because you want to act as if it takes a day off to fit your anecdotal experience doesn't mean that it's not real. So, all right. So, we go look up the definition of femininity as well, and I guarantee you're not going to see strong strength and independence on there. It's not going to be there. But let me continue. So I'm going to start over. Traditionally viewed as masculine in Western society, it includes strength, courage. See, I don't have much courage though. Independence, leadership, and assertiveness. Y'all call it assertive, but it's really more catty. But I don't want to point fingers here. I'm just reading y'all the definition. So we define masculinity, and we go dive into those words. We go deep dive into strength. What is strength? We could be talking about within the terms of this. They really probably more likely referring to physical strength, right? Just being able to physically manhandle a person. More than likely. Now, it can be derived from mental strength, and that's another form of strength. But most likely, within these definitions, it's referring to the ability to inflict harm on another person and or the ability to move and pick up heavy stuff. That's what it's referring to as strength. Now, like I said, it could be mental. Ladies, you're not that strong. I don't care how much you work out in the gym. The likelihood of you being stronger than the average man is still slim to none. Even a weak man, you're not going to be stronger than. All right. So courage. Right? I see a lot of women who really are big on saying they're brave or whatnot, but if a spider or a fly come flying in, they go run behind a snake or something. They go run behind the nearest man they can find and go, "Hey, get that spider, get that." Now there's some men out here do that stuff too. Yeah. But that's just what y'all do. But we brave, right? Supposedly, but we scared of a spider or a fly. Right? Independence. See, this is a slippery slope, right? And I said on another show once before that I think any woman who has the ability to exist, whether she's getting government assistance or not, she will put herself into the category of an independent woman. And when I say government assistance, I'm referring to anything. I just mean food stamps, housing, all the above, child support, all of that. If you're getting any of those attributes or getting any of those monetary gains, you're not as independent as you think you are. And like, ladies, I don't want you to take this as me bashing you, because we go talk about femininity as well. And you're going to be surprised how many men act feminine. I'm just reading the definitions. I apologize if it's coming off rough, but we got to get through this information. Understand me? Leadership. Now, this is another one where I'm not really against or for women in leadership. I've dealt with women. I actually haven't dealt with very many female supervisors in my profession. And not to say that women aren't equipped to doing this job. I have a lady that's, she's above me, like a project manager. I have a couple of project managers, and project managers are in more of a leadership role, but they really more about, they're not giving out orders, so to speak. They're just kind of laying out and keeping things on task and keeping things organized. That's pretty much they like a glorified accountant slash, not accountant, but accountant should be, it came in lumped in that too, but They'll glorify secretary. That's what a project manager is. They just keep stuff organized and keep everybody on task with stuff when we got things to do, right? So I've had female project managers, but I haven't had a female direct supervisor in my roles yet. And then my kind of work is dominated by men, like top tier level, high level IT work is dominated by men. Not to say that women aren't capable, because I got some peers who are just as capable as I am when it comes to their professions, right? And assertiveness. And okay, I think anybody can be assertive to a certain degree, but there's a difference between being assertive and defending yourself and just being like a leadership type qualities, and just being an ass, or just being irate, or being nasty, or being snipeful, or whatever, or being real sassy for no reason. Those are two different things. So that's what Wikipedia said about masculinity. I didn't even really click on it. This is just on the front page of Google, right? So now we're going to dive in. What is femininity? Because we seem to be confused out here. What is the definition of femininity? So let me go back to Google's again. It's amazing how much stuff is on the internet and we just don't use it. And we wonder why we be out here, you know what I'm saying? We don't wonder why we be out here, getting woe out, man. Up here dealing with a bunch of this, man. You wonder why we up here.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, I wonder why y'all doing that, and y'all be up here like this. Because y'all ain't living right, man. And when I say living right, you can be a great person, man, and still not understand how to move. It's like I just took pictures like this, right? For everything we do and everything be good at in life, you have to practice. Stuff don't just come to us naturally, especially if you didn't learn it or nobody ever taught it to you. Nobody taught me this stuff. I just went and figured it out. Now, when I went and figured it out, I have wonderful relationships with women. That's just what it is now. I don't have any issues with women whatsoever anymore. And if I have any smidgen of issues with women, I just tell them have a good day and I don't talk to them no more until they can correct their behavior. And it's really just that simple. That is a masculine thing to do, by the way. Yep. All right, so we're looking at the definition of femininity, and we go keep it straight in there. We go to back to Wikipedia. All right, so we go back to Wikipedia. Femininity, also called womanliness. Woo, look at them terms today. Womanliness. Womanliness, understand me, is a set of attributes, behaviors, and roles. Oh, we don't like that word role. Oh, play your role, understand me? We don't like that word role now, do we? Associated with women and girls, not just women and girls, understand? Femininity can be understood socially as socially constructed, and there's also some evidence of that some behaviors considered feminine are influenced by both cultural factors and biological factors. So it's actually tied to your biology that you're supposed to be feminine. Understand? Yeah, I'm just looking at Google now. It is conceptually distinct from both the female biological sex and from womanhood, as all humans can exhibit feminine and masculine traits, regardless of sex and gender. Yes, we have discussed this several times. Traits traditionally cited as feminine include, and I gave you all a little bit more, ladies. Understand me? I didn't do it on purpose. It went on the front page, my bad. But traits traditionally cited as feminine include gracefulness. Oh, acting like a lady, huh? Gracefulness, gentleness. Oh, be a little soft. Hey, don't be too hard. Empathy, trying to understand someone's perspective, like actually hearing these words coming from my mouth and trying to empathize with them and understand, hey, maybe I don't need to be so hard and rough all the time. Humility, oh, be a little humble, lady. We understand you got the bag, but hey, calm down. Sensitivity. So it didn't go too deep on that, but that's good enough, right? This is what Wikipedia said, so we go deep dive with these terms. Though traits are associated with femininity vary across societies and individuals and are influenced by a variety of social factors. All right. So Gracefulness. What exactly is that? That's like I will give the only I'm going to say only, but one of the great examples we've seen of a graceful woman in TV was Claire Huxtable. Whether that woman is really that graceful in real life or not, she did a bang up job of playing that role. She was always very tactful with her approach, and at no point in time did you feel like Cliff Huxtable ran her. Now, did you? So, how was this woman who was a lawyer may make more money than Cliff Huxtable? How was she able to conduct herself like a graceful lady? That's a $1 million question. And it may just be a movie role. Maybe that woman don't exist like that. They can conduct herself like that and make that kind of money. She make more money than most people watching this show. She made more money than I do right now. But she was still able to listen to Cliff Huxtable. And we never seen them argue on the show for as a knockdown, drag out in the vein of I don't need you type stuff. Right? I want y'all chime in the comments, man, and let me know. How do y'all think Claire Huxtable pulled that off? She made the big bag, man. She was a lawyer, man. She had her own practice. She didn't work on nobody off. She had her own practice, as far as I know. I don't think they really talked about her work too much. And I know Cliff had his own doctor's office, and I assume she probably had her own practice. I can't remember many episodes of them showing her at work, but we was made aware she was a big time lawyer. What do y'all think about that? Gracefulness, gentleness, right? Just basically be a little soft. Learn how to nurture. Another big word is to me this tied to being gentle is being nurturing. Be a little soft with your approach. Learn how to be graceful and gentle and glide through scenarios. Don't be so harsh. Don't be so abrasive with your approach to get stuff done. I guarantee any man that comes in contact with a woman who is graceful and gentle, shows empathy, humility, and sensitivity. If that man doesn't lock you down, or if he doesn't have the wherewithal, and if you ain't out of shape and stuff like that, you taking care of yourself. If you check auto blocks, woman, you will not have no issues ever in life getting a man, especially not a masculine man. He go jump on you like white on rice. She was protege up her with the malarkey said. I don't know about that one, man. I think Claire was giving that thing up before she met Cliff, dog. I don't believe that. Protege say she was a virgin, never been touched. Understand me? That's how she was able to sit that hot thing down somewhere. Hey, Claire didn't have that body though, man. They never really showed her like no tights on. This is the crazy part about it. I still don't know what that woman's butt looked like. We watched every episode of the Cosby Show. I have never seen Claire Huxtable's behind ever, and I still ain't seen it. I have never seen it on any TV show, on any movie. And if y'all know an episode of a show that y'all seen it, let me know, because I ain't seen it yet. Nobody, I don't think nobody has. She didn't take that one sideways selfie, y'all. The irony of all that. Empathy. We were going along. Empathy. Empathy is about being able to understand things, being able to relate to stuff, not necessarily throwing a pity party all the time, but you can empathize. That's, I don't like to use the word to define it. Oh, where'd you see that, Protege? Send me that link. I want to see that. I want to see. Does she got that wagon back there, man? What's going on with Claire Huxtable, man? I don't know. I ain't never seen it. Did Claire Huxtable got that behind? They got that wagon back there or not, man? Because she looked good from the front. Understand me? I'm trying to see how she looked from the side. Understand me? From the back. Understand me? So empathy. Just be understanding is another word that comes to mind when you define empathy. All right. Let's see. She went to work out so she could fit into a dress. She had her number. Oh Lord. And did she have that wagon back there or not? Man, I'm pretty sure you can probably pull that one up on YouTube. Did she have that wagon back there? I don't know. I ain't never seen it. I didn't see that episode. All right. Humility. So they had a whole song. Kendrick Lamar had a song. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. You know what I'm saying, man? And it wasn't necessarily talking to any genders per se, but I can name a bunch of individuals that I like, you know what? Why you got all this bravado and you live with your mama, young lady, young man? What is going on here? So basically, humility. When I look up the definition of humility, it's hard for me to kind of line up with it, because the definition says you feel like you're beneath someone, when I don't feel like I'm beneath nobody. And I understand the slippery slope of women not wanting to feel like they're beneath anyone. So but let me explain. No, she like me. Okay, well, she ain't had nothing back there. False alarm, y'all. Claire Huxley didn't have no wagon, y'all. She ain't got that. So false alarm. So with that, that's probably why she never showed it either. So hey, maybe she had that wagon, she might would have showed it off. Who knows? She showed that pretty green, and you know, she was straight up and down. So being humble is not about feeling like you're beneath anybody. Even though the Webster Dictionary definition says beneath or less than, I don't feel like you need to be beneath or less than anybody. But let me explain the humility within the constraints of a romantic relationship. Like, ladies, your humility is tied to being feminine and being humble enough to know that I know it feels good to be in a masculine position and feel like you're running things as a woman. I get it. I understand. Everybody wants to feel like they're in charge of their life and everything going on, but it's not to your benefit within the constraints of a romantic relationship. Now, romantic relationship. Make sure I say that clearly. Now, within the constraints of going out and getting a job and accomplishing goals and getting stuff done, everybody got to work nowadays. It's 2022. Nobody's out here living for free unless you get lucky and get with a rich man or something like that. You have to work, but you have to learn how to manage that. It is very difficult for women to manage. This is probably, I think, the people who kind of run the world understood this when they created feminism and they put women in the workforce. Not, like I said, I have nothing against women making their own money and making and working and having their own homes and all that stuff. But that's a scenario. That's a prime example, right? If you have your own home and you decide to get into a relationship with a man who's a man of means, he's not going to move in with you. So you have to be humble enough, keyword, to understand that if me and this man is going to work out, I'm going to have to move out of my house. Or we go out to put it on the market and we go out to move into a different house. A man of means is not moving in with your house. At least a wise man. I've done things like that before myself, trying to partner with somebody and it didn't work out. And I was a man of means at the time. I had my apartments. I had 3 apartments, and I decided to put the one I'm in right now on Airbnb as well. And I already had a place that I was going to crash with my homie. But, we went on a date. Well, not just an old flame I had caught up with. And we went on a date or two, and she came to be aware of the situation with the Airbnbs. And she volunteered, and she offered for me to stay. So I was like, okay, I figured I'd just stay here. It's access to, she was a good woman, great woman. She has a bunch of abundance when it comes to monetary and business. She makes good money. Got her own business, teaching women how to be CNAs and everything. Lovely lady. I would say she's probably, within the realm of what we consider a good woman, she's up there. But when it comes to understand how to be feminine, she is lost in the sauce. And it's unfortunate. She will probably be one of those ladies that die alone. I don't wish that on nobody, but she might be one of those. But wherever the case, humility, yes, you have to be humble enough to know, hey, me trying to keep my stuff and keep the man and have everything at the same time, it may or may not happen. So you got to be humble enough to give up some things. That's your humility is about relinquishing control. And it's hard to do that, especially when being in control your whole life, or you feel like you have. So, but like I said, if you don't have the man you want as a woman, especially if you're a pretty woman and you get a bunch of attention from the opposite sex online, or even the same sex, you messed up somewhere, young lady. There's no way you should be getting 100 likes on a selfie and still don't have a man. That just don't make sense. And the reason why you don't have it, because you don't understand the stuff I'm talking about tonight. All right. And sensitivity. So, that's kind of self-explanatory, but we'll dive into sensitivity, the definition. Pretty much. Sensitivity is about being able to feel, I guess, being able to really just, and I don't want to ramble. I might have to look up that word, but it's kind of hard to describe it without actually using the word. but it's really more like being tapped into your emotional side to really um, be in tune with things that are going to help you feel someone's perspective. I guess are you sensitive? I know, like I don't want to be use the word to define it, but you are in tune with someone's point of view, so to speak, and willing to be malleable in your perspective to assist them in feeling better about whatever it is that they need to feel better about. That's what I would define as sensitivity. But I might need to look that one up just to get a clear cut answer. So give me a moment. Have to handle some business right quick. Give me one moment. But yeah, if y'all could, y'all look up sensitivity, man, while I'm doing this. What's the definition, y'all? What is y'all definition for sensitivity? Sensitivity. Sensitive. You remember that from was it? Is it what he said? Sensitive on Major Pain. Sensitive. She wanted him to be more like a woman. In Major Pain, he wasn't cut out for that, man. It wasn't his style, man. It wasn't his cup of tea. He wasn't used to moving like that, man. He wasn't used to that at all. But yeah, being sensitive is not very useful for a man, but extremely useful for a woman. So those are just the scenarios. You know what I mean? So we laid out the definitions, right? So now we're gonna tap into the rhyme and reason of kind of add some layers to this, right? So why do women want to be more masculine? Because it feels good to be in charge, man. It just is what it is. I don't want to debate that. I don't want to take that away from nobody. I'm not going to sit up here and beat around the bush. Humans like being in charge. Or at least they like feeling like they're in charge, whether they're really in charge or not. But I chalk it up to this, right? There's a scene from a movie, a Batman movie, The Dark Knight Rises. And there's a scene when Bane, the big bad boogeyman guy in the movie, he was talking to his handler, like a guy who was actually fitting the bill and paying the money for all of Bane's extravagant escapades for the crimes and stuff he was doing before they took over Gotham City, right? And there was a scene when the guy was like, I paid you a lot of money. I'm in charge here. And Bane just laid his hand on him, laid his hand on his shoulder. And he's like, you feel like you're in charge. It was crazy on how, just like that, the masculinity amongst two men was that grown man was overwhelmed by the masculine presence of Bane. Not to say that that Bane wasn't a masculine man. He was a big time Wall Street or a big time politician or whatever he was. He was somebody important in that town to be able to foot that kind of bill, to finance Bane's situation. Got some more comments. Let's see. Grandma Tuesday House says, sometimes women may come across as not being sensitive when they have learned to be tough. Yes, this is the thing. This is learned behavior. That's a wonderful comment. This behavior that we are in, and this is for men and women, this is learned behavior. This is what you know. This is what somebody taught you to do. Whether it's right or wrong, this is your learned behavior. Now we have to unlearn it. That's really all. This is what this show is about. And even for me, I'm learning as I go too. We have to unlearn bad behaviors that's got us in situations that we don't want to be in. And this is the crazy part, but you got to understand, it may not even affect you personally. It may affect your kids. Your kids may be the ones to suffer from what you didn't know. Your kids may be the ones out here wilding out and got a bunch of bad situations in and out of living situations and in and out of jail and in and out of trouble, in and out of just bad spots because of what you didn't teach them, because you didn't know. It may not be you the one who suffered from this. Your kids might suffer, or your kids might suffer, or somebody down the line, if it ain't you yourself, go suffer the consequences for not understanding sexual polarity. Those are just the rules of the game, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't make these rules. I just learned to live by them, and my life has been so abundant once I did. I have not had one single problem since I learned this stuff. Not a one. Have I had to dismiss some people? Absolutely. But have I had a knockdown, drag out issue to where we couldn't resolve it like adults? No. She doesn't want to be masculine. She's operating out of fear. You might need to call in and chime in on that one, because I don't know about that one. She may not subconsciously, she may not consciously know she's operating out of fear, but I think everybody's in their masculine roles in the heat of the moment. They enjoy it. They enjoy that feeling of being in charge. Now, is it to their best interest? Who knows? But they like being in charge. I don't know one person who don't like being in charge, man. And maybe she's just doing it because she feels like she has to, operate out of fear, quote unquote. But I don't. Hey, that's in the weeds. I can't speak to somebody. I like being in charge, so I don't know why women want to be in charge, especially a quote unquote strong, independent woman. When she knocked off half of the things that's on the list of traits for masculine, she's strong, independent. And like I said, it's so crazy whenever I look up stuff and we start getting into the definitions of things, and the irony of the status quo statement, that blanket statements covers the demeanor of most black women who are somewhat successful. The two terms they use the most is strong and independent. That's like their mantra. And for me to look up the word masculine, and those words are right there at the top of the list for as traits, it explains wholeheartedly why these strong, independent women can't find the man that they actually want. Because the man you actually want is going to be sensitive. He may be empathetic. And that's crazy. Women be, I need somebody who can understand me, who's sensitive. That's on a surface level, man. That ain't what you really want. And you're not even aware that you don't really want it. You just kind of go along with it. Just has a defense mechanism. Okay, I can get that. So they have a wall up, so to speak, because they don't want to get hurt or somebody they've been hurt before. But the only reason you got hurt in the first place, ladies, is because you were dealing with a man who wasn't masculine. A masculine man will never hurt you. What can he do to hurt you? Cheat on you? A masculine man's not going to cheat. He's going to let you know what he's doing, and you're going to have a decision on if that's what you want to deal with. That's what's going to happen with a masculine man. It'll never be a situation where he's cheating on you. Cheating is when there's something behind your back. You will be fully aware of everything a masculine man does with another woman. If he does anything with another woman. I'm not an advocate of a man having more than one woman. That's just my scenario. And I didn't even ask for that. That just happened. It was a byproduct of me being masculine. We sat down like adults and had a conversation. Nothing more. Grandma Tuesday has said, we don't want a very sensitive man at all. Well, Auntie, if you out here being strong and independent, that's what you're going to get. I don't know how to break this down the other way. If you out here being masculine, you're going to attract a man who's feminine, or more feminine than you probably would like. That's just what's going to happen. A masculine man's not going to deal with trying to break down your layers of defense mechanisms as Miss Cherie broke down. BBW, aka, understand me? They're not gonna be up here trying to break down your masculine wall to kind of get next to you. He don't really care. He has other women he could talk to that ain't masculine like you. And when I say like you, I'm not talking to you specifically. I'm just saying any woman who's subscribed to being masculine, a masculine man has options. I have options. I don't choose to exercise every option I have. I don't have to. I'm picky about my stuff nowadays. So basically, when I'm saying why do women want to be more masculine, because they feel better about being in charge. Like I would think everybody would. I don't think there's a person out here that don't like being in charge. People like being in control of their lifestyle and life situation. And I can't knock them for that. I can't knock somebody who for wanting to be in charge, especially if you're paying all your own bills. You got a mortgage and a car note and you paying for all your kids' school clothes. You paying for all your kids' daycare, all that stuff by yourself as a woman, other than child support. Hey, who am I to come tell you not to be in charge? But the fact that you are masculine is the reason why you are in that scenario in the first place, where you got to get child support and you got to be in a situation where you're a single mother. As a cause and effect, right? So this topic is how did men become so feminine? So I am a big advocate of the notion that the energy will always balance itself, meaning that the polarity is going to do what the polarity does. You can't control the balancing of the energy. The equally yoked statement isn't speaking to two individuals doing the same thing, aka how we like to say now, we got two bosses coming together. That's not equally yoked is talking about. Equally yoked is about the two energies balancing each other, like the opposite of a seesaw, to where they're not doing either this or that, or you tip the scale. It's about leveling each other out. And the only thing that can counteract the energy of femininity is masculinity. To stay leveled out, you have to have masculinity on one side of the yoke and femininity on the other side of the yoke. That's how equally yoked things works, and you stay balanced. Now, when you have too much masculinity or too much femininity, that's when your yoke is going to start doing this and it's going to fall. That's how equally yoked works. Equally yoked has nothing to do with two individuals coming together with the same goals and drive and ambitions. That's not what equally yoked is referring to. That's what we convinced. That's what we've been convinced it is, but that's not the right answer. You go into a scenario with a man trying to do some of the things he's doing, or you go into a situation with a woman trying to do things he's doing, then all that's going to happen to you is some sad music. I'm trying to find my song. All that's going to happen is you're going to be up here hearing this right here, and it ain't going to be good for you, man. You're going to be hearing this right here. And as we know, when you hear that sign right now, it ain't good news, baby. It ain't good news when you hear that, baby. It's always bad scenarios when you hear that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to hear this right here, baby. That's a funny song. But soul music is so on the money of what's going on with all these days up here. Y'all going bankrupt out here. Y'all showcase showdown, and you going home with nothing, man. You did all this work. You done spun the big wheel. You done got within $100 without going over. You done walk down now. You done talk to what's his name? I can't remember his name. Bob Barker. You done walk down the aisle. You ran all the way down the aisle. He called your name. Bob Barker called your name from the crowd. You ran down. You ran down and you got within $1. Understand me? You want 100. You got 100 out the gate. So you go up there, you play the ukulele song, the one with the little dude climbing up the mountain. You got that one right. You get all the way up to spinning the big wheel. You spin it. Oh, you spin it. You won $100 on the big wheel. Oh, so now you in the showcase showdown. You get all the way to the showcase showdown, and what happened to you? What happened to you? You thought you had it. You know, overbid it or something. You lost all of it. All because you was in the wrong energy from the jump. You made all that success just to get to the showcase showdown and fail. Why? Because you had the wrong energy. You thought you had it right because you was winning. You had won. You didn't win the big prize, but you was winning along the way. You thought you was on to something. You got to shake hands with Bob Barker. You got on TV. You ran down the aisle. You won the little standoff where you got to get within $100. Spun the big wheel, won another $100. Get to the showcase showdown and lose it all. That's really what's going on. People have been convinced that in the process of losing, they're winning. When the only thing that's going to guide you is the word of God and the energy. There's nothing in the Bible telling a woman to be masculine. Nowhere, no how. And there's nothing in the Bible telling a man to be feminine. Nowhere, no how. Understand me? That's just what it is. Like I said, I keep saying this. I didn't make these rules, man. I just learned how to follow them. If you got an issue with the rules of conduct yourself in a sexual polarized manner, you need to take that up with God, not me. You got an issue with what the Lord said. You ain't got an issue with what I say. You got an issue with the rules and regulations of the good Lord Almighty. And if you picked up your body and read it, you will know this already, but ain't nobody doing that, really. We talk about it. You'll pick out a couple verses and recite some on Facebook talking about what you think you know about the word, but you ain't living it like that. If you was, you wouldn't be up here sad and out, fine as hell. Getting 100 likes on sideways selfies is still single. Getting 100 likes on front way selfies if you do. You got your gray sweatpants, you showing out, but you can't find a woman. Come on now. What are we talking about here? And let me make this a little personal right quick. Has the P.I.M.P, the Presidential Intellectual Masculinity, has he ever been feminine? In the feminine. I need to correct that. But I'll leave it up. Has the P.I.M.P, the Presidential Intellectual Masculinity, ever been feminine? Yeah. I was getting beaten everything by my ex-wife, man. She was going upside my head, dog. I used to think it was a love tap. And the woman I loved the most, like coming up in high school, she was masculine as hell. I think she still is. I don't know if she started acting more feminine. Oh, don't be laughing at the protege. I mean, BBW. Hey, well, calm down, BBW. Understand me? Got to have a talk with you. You're pretty laughing at me. But have I ever been feminine? Yes, I have. So, story time. The reason why I was in the friend zone because I was feminine. Understand me? So the situation with the young lady that helped me get out of the friend zone, helped me understand that with all my accolades of success, I still was off path. The reason why I was off path because I was acting feminine. I was too sensitive and empathetic and what's nurturing? What's the word? I was too much of that stuff. I can't remember. I was too gentle, too empathetic, too humble, and too sensitive. All that was drying her up. And when I started acting more masculine, masculinity doesn't say anything about being an asshole. I'm just acting more masculine. I reached out to her when she reached out to me. It wasn't no more. I was texting her, good morning, beautiful, and we was taking back and forth, good morning, handsome, and shit like that. I love you, like a friend. The crazy part about it, we said I love you more to each other than we was friends than we did after we started smashing. I don't remember saying I love you at all in the process of smashing after we reconnected. But we would say I love you all the time when we was friends. It's crazy. This is madness. You know, I got out of the notion of this is madness. I was like,
This is Sparta!
Yeah. Had to come through like King Leonidas on me. Had to come through like King Leonidas. You understand me? And I ain't had no more problem. Yeah, it's funny, man. We said I love you way more than we was when we started smashing. I didn't say I love you once, not ever. All of a sudden the jaw's dropping. This is, like I said, when you understand it, it just kind of works. Yeah, I understand it now. But yeah, I was feminine with my ex-wife. I was feminine with the girl that my ex-wife reminded me of. Both of them used to go up some of my head. And I was feminine with the one who finally, after I got my life together. So once I did the work to get my life together, then I stopped being so feminine. Because even with me being more of and like I said, I was probably the norm. I was the typical good guy, but it was still feminine behavior nonetheless. But I was the typical good guy, get your shirt off my back, do anything for you, reach out to you, make sure you're okay. There's nothing wrong with none of that stuff, but you got to do it in the proper hierarchy, right? So I was the good guy, right? Even though I always had access to women. So that's probably why I never thought I need to fix anything, because in spite of one girl out of 100 trying to put me in the friend zone, I still had access to another 100 women who liked me, and I can go, you know, we were having sex or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So that was just, it was hard to process that I had work to do. But once I got to that point to where I felt like this stuff just not computing, these results I'm getting don't line up with the results I was getting in my personal and financial life outside of the romantic relationship part of it. I had to make a decision, and I went and found solutions, and that's basically what happened, right? So yeah, I have been feminine. What to teach your children about sexual polarity? So basically, if you have, and I'll start with the boys first. We started on the women first last time. Well, I think we started on masculinity first. We'll just keep it in order. We'll start with the boys first. If you have young boys, number one, you need to teach them to stay focused on goals and aspirations, and teach them that dealing with women is secondary to everything else he's doing in his life. Like, he shouldn't be dealing with women at all until he has himself in a very good situation financially as an adult man. He needs to be working towards that goal forever until he gets there. And if he never reaches it, to my stance on men and women, and especially young boys, if they never get themselves in a financial stable spot, maybe dating just ain't for them. I think society would be better off if men who weren't capable of taking care of their families weren't producing families. But it seems like the most ill-equipped men on the planet Earth, especially within the black community, are the ones that's making all the babies. And that's unfortunate. And it all derives back to this imbalance of sexual polarity. Women are way more masculine, and the men are way more feminine. And y'all just coming together making babies and wondering why it ain't working out, or why this dude is a dog and can't keep his penis in his pants, and he can't stop smashing everything in sight, including you, and making babies with everybody in town, including you, because he might look nice and he may make you feel good because you're so masculine that you are attracted to a more feminine dude, whether you, or at least on a surface level, and so you can't relinquish enough control and let go enough of your masculinity to even get in contact with a masculine man. The Lord ain't gonna bless you with a man who's masculine, because you too masculine yourself to even receive that man. So teach young boys to be everything that's on the list of masculinity that we already talked about. Make sure he's very in tune with goal creation and accomplishment. Make sure his top priorities in life is getting stuff done. And on his things, his list of things to do should never be get a girlfriend. Getting a girl should never be a goal of his. Now, talking to women and being comfortable around, that's something he needs to work out and be just comfortable with. How he achieves that task. But having the notion and having the mindset, oh, I need to go get me a girlfriend, oh, I'm ready for a relationship, or I need to go out searching for a wife. No, he should never do that. If he's out here producing and being productive and being masculine, a wife will find him. He won't have to search for it. He who finds a wife finds a good thing. It's not about a man going out here hunting for a wife. It's about him being prepared to receive a wife, and he's getting the good thing he earned. That's what that scripture is about. But once again, we misconstrue stuff and we want to make it fit our sad situations, but that ain't what the word of God is speaking to when it says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. There's a bunch of context to that. I suggest y'all read it. But for young girls, what I recommend, if I had a daughter, what I would teach her, number one, I would teach her how to be a young lady, how to be graceful, how to be empathetic, sensitive, all that stuff. But I also am fully aware that she more likely will have to work and provide for herself. So I'm going to teach her how to navigate the landscape and be able to conduct all that stuff from a feminine perspective. A woman can get way more done with her femininity than her masculinity ever could. Trust me on that. If she's being graceful and sensitive and all the above, all the blocks that we check for as describing femininity, if she's doing all that while being in a leadership position, people will literally throw their life on the line to protect her as the leader of that company. And I have no doubt in my mind about that. Another comment. Oh yeah, hey, we got the Passover. Hey, he coming with nothing but the word. Understand me? They say I suggest y'all read it. Understand me? I'm about to turn good work. I don't understand that, but he's chiming in and let y'all know that if you ain't reading the word and getting the whole context, it's probably why you live off balance. Understand me? You gotta get the full context of them scriptures for y'all just start burning them out. And he who finds a wife is talking about you got to be a wife before you get found. A wife ain't just any woman on earth that just happen to be cute. They ain't a wife. You're not. It's a lot of y'all think y'all wives, you ain't wives, and a lot of men think they husbands, they ain't husbands. So you got to put yourself in position to be those things. And if you ain't positioned to be those things, you're gonna lose it. That's why you're being up divorced, because he wasn't ready to be no wife and he wasn't ready to be no husband. That's just the rules of the game. If you was ready to be either one of those things, you will be that, and you'll be happy the whole time. It won't be no misery. Won't be no lockdown, drug outs. And the last thing you'll ever do is be on Facebook talking about y'all going through it. I mean, a proper polarized relationship will never do that. But y'all be up here co-signing this nonsense. There's some people y'all know that be on Facebook going through it with their husband and their wife every couple of years, every 6 months. It's some BS with them. But y'all want to use, if people really using them as an example of what they want. And maybe they're just doing it because everybody get along and everybody intolerant like each other like that. I don't know. I never got this whole people liking each other from stuff they did in high school stuff. Like that stuff is weird to me, man. Do y'all not know everything you was in high school has nothing to do with you? Everything you was in high school has to do with what your parents did, not what you did. You didn't buy your own clothes in high school. You wasn't cool in high school because you was cool. If you looked nice and had nice stuff, that's because your parents bought it. That ain't got nothing to do with you. But in small town Texas, people still hung up on who they was. I don't get it. But hey, maybe that's why I'm out here doing big things, giving everybody the world some game. And now I'm still up here having wifey problems with somebody you swear is that live in your life, but y'all arguing with them all the time. Newsflash, ladies and gentlemen, if your relationship is properly polarized, you don't have arguments. Ever. There's nothing to argue about. Everybody understands their role and everybody gets stuff done according to the role that they are fully comfortable with. Why are they comfortable with the role? Because they're in their proper energy. A woman who's comfortable with being feminine is not going to be upset about a masculine man giving her orders or giving her tasks. Don't use the word orders. I guess orders is a harsh word. Giving her tasks to accomplish throughout the day. Like, hey, babe, I need you to do this. A feminine woman is not going to have an issue with that. A masculine boss, she might though. She might be real upset. Like, who do you think you is? Yeah, right. But like I said, you will never get into a scenario to say the words, who do you think you are, to a masculine man. He won't even give you the opportunity. You'll be gone way before you can get to something like that. That's what y'all don't understand. Y'all blocking y'all ability to meet the man you want by being out of the right energy. Some people who had it all in high school now walking the streets. Yeah, that is a true statement. But I don't like to include them in the talk, but there's levels to this. There's some people who had things in high school and still doing so much themselves. They still doing okay for themselves. They still doing pretty good, mate. But hey, their relationships ain't polarized. Tonight's topic is about sexual polarity, which for women, some men and women, they ain't even tied to what you got and what you achieved and what you have for monetary stuff. So, but that is still a good point nonetheless, baby. Appreciate that. What do you teach your children? So yeah, we're still talking about what you teach kids. Man, teach your daughter to be a young, sensitive, graceful, humble, eloquent, nice young lady. That's all she has to be. And tell her to work out. She needs a gym membership and she needs to be feminine and be useful. That's all she gotta do. A masculine man will handle the rest. There's nothing more. All right. Is there such thing as unpolarized successful relationships? All right. So this is what I'm talking about. This is these relationships where they be up here arguing and stuff. And they be up here on some 1 minute we good, next minute we not so good. And it's out there for the public word to see. They be posting about it on Facebook. Everybody in Tyler know they're going through it, right? But somehow, according to them, it's still good. Because at least they got somebody, I guess. To me, that is not success. That is misery. So, to me, my answer to that is absolutely not. There is no such thing as successful, unpolarized relationships. They don't exist. Do you have some relationships that aren't polarized? They still kind of, I just go along to get along? Absolutely. People stay in bad spots for a long time. People stay at a bad job they hate. That's just what humans going to do. People stay at places they don't necessarily like sometimes. Just to cope, I guess. That's just what humans are going to do sometimes. That's just what we do. We go along to get along until we can't stand no more, and then we want to look for a way out. But by the time you got assets and investments and money and kids and stuff, now it's kind of tough to leave that sad situation. So to me, no, there's no such thing as a successful unpolarized relationship. Do unpolarized relationships exist and do they last a long time? Absolutely. I don't mean them people happy. They're just there and they just exist. I know some people personal and private and public. I know some people I got some people I know for in real life for as family, and I got some people that I know just from Facebook, and they all going through the quote unquote unpolarized relationship, meaning that the woman's more masculine than she needs to be and the man's more feminine than he needs to be, and it shows in their post history and in their relationship status on the fact that when you think these people getting divorced and then a couple months later they good. And then you question about the fact, I thought you got divorced. Oh, I have to mind your business or whatever. Like, man, lady, you put this on Facebook. Don't tell me mind my business now. I'm concerned. It's all of our relationship now. This is all of ours. You put it out here. It's all of ours. They don't be cheating on us, man. We want to know what's going on. All right, how important is the proper energy to sustain his sexual polarity? That's the lifeblood, man. If you don't maintain the right energy, you will never achieve it. So, is the utmost importance. If you don't have sexual polarity, and if you are not polarized from the jump, number one, you'll never meet the person that that you should meet, and that you should really quote unquote deserve. That's number one. Number two, if you ever meet that person, like if you come across their path, they're not going to entertain you if they're polarized. So if you're not in the right energy, when you do come across a person who is in the right energy, that person's going to discard you as trash. And that goes both ways. A feminine woman can recognize a man who isn't masculine real quick. It's impossible for you to get finessed if you're a feminine woman. Your femininity will give you intuition. Y'all have it a little bit. Y'all have female intuition after the fact, after you know a dude out here being a dog in the streets, but it's too late by then. And the only reason he out here being a dog in the streets is because he was a feminine dude. So as I said, a masculine dude ain't gotta move like that. He understands that I don't have to lie about anything. Anything I want to do, I'm gonna disclose with the woman I'm with. And guess what? Y'all be cool with it. Y'all say all the time, y'all just want to know. Just keep it 100. But if you come off with such a masculine stance, he's gonna be fearful to come with you with that kind of information. Because number one, if you're a masculine woman, you're dealing with a sensitive dude. And sensitive dudes have issues with telling the truth. They'll lie to themselves. A sensitive guy will tell himself that he's doing great in life while he got a wife cheating on him. True story, y'all. A sensitive guy will convince himself he winning in life while he getting cheated on. Lord have mercy. But yeah, the proper energy is of the utmost importance. If you don't have the right energy, you will not get what you want to get out of these relationship stuff, man. It's just how it go. It's I'm saying it's impossible to get it. Just to get it how you want to get it in the capacity you want. Like when we grew up, we dreamed about the big house and the family and the dog and the picket fence. You can't get that not being polarized. You can't get that not having the right energy. You gotta have the right energy to achieve that and sustain it. You may better get all the monetary stuff. You may better get the house and the car and the kids and the dog and the picket fence, but you won't have no love there. It'll look good, but it's like a prison. Because you can't let it go now because you done did all this. Y'all done bought all this stuff. Y'all done had the big wedding. Y'all done told everybody. Y'all done on Facebook Live with the wedding. You can't tell nobody that your marriage is in shambles, which is a big old house with the nice picket fence. And every time we get on Facebook or whatever, we taking good pictures and we smiling and waving and we looking happy. That's a lot of pressure, man. That's a prison. How about just be happy for real, man? How about that? So I have some experience speaking to young kids. I spoke to young girls very rarely, but I have some of my nieces' friends. I tell you, actually, that's one scenario I can speak to, right? One of my niece, her friends, like they came down for, I think it was like a holiday. I don't know, it was some reason they came down. I let them keep my place, and I went to spend the night somewhere else, and they stayed in my place for a short period of time. But while it was down, I was just having a conversation with them, like, hey, just praise the talent. Hey, don't be a simp. Don't I tell them to be a simp. Don't deal with simp dudes, right? One of the young ladies who, in my opinion, was the one was the most developed physically, if I'm being frank here, right? So she said, "Oh, I don't want no dude who's strong. I want a simp dude. I want a dude who will be all over me." And she learned that from somewhere else. She learned that from her parents, whoever was in her life. I guarantee she don't have a father that's around. And if she do have a father that's around, he's a simp. And more likely she was raised by a strong, independent woman. Because she literally said she wants whoever her boyfriend is, she said, I want him to be a simp. Verbatim. I was surprised because I tried to explain to her what a simp was. And she was like, if that's what a simp is, I want a simp. I don't want no dude out here that don't be all over me. I'm like, why would you want to do this all over you like that? Like, but I gotta know that he like me. See, that's now, Sheree, that's where we're getting too far as the insecurities of it. It's as if a dude ain't all over me, I don't think he like me. Well, unfortunately, the only kind of guys that's going to be all over you is men who don't have lives of their own. They don't have stuff going on. A man who got stuff going on ain't gonna have time to be all over you. It ain't that he don't want to be all over you. He just don't got time to do all that because he got stuff to do. That's what makes it so good. When y'all do get some alone time, it makes it more magical because now you finally got a time to be alone with him where y'all can get things popping. But they had a notion that I want to do to make me his priority. I want to. He needs to be on me like why don't waste all the time and really just on me like, oh, I love you so much type demeanor. Then he's getting his hierarchy and stuff. He's no longer focused on his goals. He's no longer focused on being driven to achieve stuff. And he has now replaced all his goals with you. And having you as a goal is never in his benefit. That is the true synopsis of these scenarios. Is any man making a woman the goal is out of bounds and out of pocket. Right? So that's from the young adult's perspective, right? So I spoke to some. That was my one experience with like speaking with a teenage girl, and that's what she said, right? So that's what the young ladies are thinking. I just told y'all how you not understanding this polarity stuff will lead to your kids being led astray. And that's one example of many, right? So what about some young boys? So I had an opportunity to do a speaking engagement with some young boys, some underprivileged youth, and I pretty much talked to them about. We mentioned the friend zone, and I think I might have spoke to this before, but basically he said that he was comfortable being friends with a girl to get to know her, and I tried to explain to him that volunteering to be friends with a woman who you are romantically interested in is not a very good idea. I'm not saying you can't be friendly. I'm not saying you can't be cordial. I'm not saying you need to pressure anything, but you should never approach it with the notion of, oh, let's be friends first. Nothing like that. There's nothing sexually polarized about being friends first. Either she likes you or she don't. I recommend boys and young men or men in general don't deal with women who don't like you. Only deal with women who like you. And if you approach her and she likes your approach, even if she's like a very attractive woman, if she likes you, she'll respond. If she don't like you, then there's no point in you chasing her. So the fact that you came up and talked to her is a masculine trait. So if you go from one end of the spectrum to the other, like you get the number, you approached her, you got the number. She's not used to being approaching her because she's so attractive. If you go straight into simp mode where you're all over and pursuing her, trying to be her friend, then she's gonna start becoming unattracted to you. After you did all that work and did the cold approach or whatever. I don't recommend cold approaching, but some men feel that's cool to do. They feel like they want to that for women that they feel like out of their league or whatever. Hey, do your thing, homeboy. But if you go from approaching her in a masculine manner back to doing simp activities to keep the engagement, so to speak, then it's just a matter of time before she loses attraction for you. I have several examples of this of men who are great caliber guys in their relationships with relatively high caliber women for looks and accomplishments, and the marriage failed because they were doing too much non-masculine activity. I'll leave it at that. All right. So this is a big one here. People get confused on this, and I want y'all to chime in on chat. We got 6 people watching. That's a pretty good crowd for this small little channel. Understand me? We're gonna get up there, y'all. We just getting things started. We got a lot of views for being just a small channel, man. We actually making waves. Understand me? For a small channel, we doing about as good as you can do. The logarithm has been showing us some love. Y'all been showing us some love. I appreciate that. I need y'all to chime into the chat. What do y'all think is more important within the constraints of a romantic relationship? Lust or love? Which one y'all think? Y'all let me know in the comments, man. Which don't take too long, man. I'm gonna wait for y'all to say something. I need at least 2 people to say something. I would like for all 6 of y'all to say something. But if only 2 go, I can work with that. Y'all help me out, man. What is more important, lust or love within the constraints of a romantic relationship? Waiting for somebody to answer that question. That's a $1 million question. What's more important? What is more important, lusts or love? Ed Rutledge. It says love when it comes to a true relationship. All right. I'm gonna dive into his answer, and while I dive into his, I hope somebody else can chime in while I'm talking to this point. I love you, Red Dog, baby, but I want to thoroughly disagree on the notion, and let me explain. So, sexual polarity is it has the word in the definition, right? So, sexual polarity is tied directly with the emotions that make you want to have sex, right? So, for instance, there are people you can love in life that you will never have sex with. Like we love our mother. You can love a dog. You can love a homeboy. That don't mean you'll ever have sex with them. So within the constraints of a romantic relationship, I wholeheartedly disagree with that. And I say that the most important emotion to have is lust when it comes within those two. Now, there's I'm gonna go maybe what you see as love is attaching more things to it, like respect, which I'm gonna speak to on the respect part. We ain't there yet, but I'm gonna get on the respect. Right. So we did lust or love, and then we go get into love and respect, right? And I feel like lust is more important than love, and also when we get to respect is more important than love, and I'm gonna dive into that one too. But if you're asking me, from what I learned, from what I've seen, I've never seen a woman, and within the constraints of this, she don't cheat on the guy. She's always lusting. If she's always lusting after you, why would she want to have sex with anybody else? If she's constantly lusting after you. Like I said, I heard people say all the time that I still love you, but I can't. I'm not in love with you, or whatever the case. Right. So for men, we have been conditioned to the attachment. If we love something as a man, if we love something, we go to go to bat for it. You know what I'm saying? And we can lust after something and smash it and keep it moving. That's a man. Women don't like to leave what they lust after. Women chase what they lust after and don't stop chasing it ever. That's just how they wired up. So from my perspective, from what I learned, from what I've been taught and gathered, and from what I've processed, lust is more important than love within the constraints of a romantic relationship. But I don't want to get love confused with the word respect. So without further ado, we're going to dive in right now. What is it more important, love or respect? And on this one, that answer should be pretty simple. The respect always go outweigh the love. And welcome once again. It always comes back to the situation of, and I'll say it between the men and women, but the lust and the love. Men go out here and act out over lust. So how women treat lust and how men treat lust is a little different. But the respect, a woman will never leave a man she respects or cheat, and a man will never cheat on a woman or lie to a woman he respects. So within there's constraints of love and respect. You got that one right, dog. Respect go trump that one all day. Like I said, a woman will never cheat on, or lie to, or mistreat a man she respects, and a man will never lie to, mistreat, or do wrong a woman he respects. But we like to lump in love and respect together, and they're not one and the same. Like I don't think they can be attached. Like we want to attach it, like from the fairy tale, what we want to feel like and what we like for things to be. Definition of what love and respect is. We like to say that if you love someone, the respect comes along for the ride, but that's not always the case. I see people say all the time that I love somebody, but I can't be with you no more type thing. Meanwhile, she's going to the person that she lusts after. She's going to the guy that she lusts after and she respects. She may still love you, but she lusts after him and respects him. So that's what we got to keep in mind there. There's a difference between those emotions, and we want to think, and we like to think that the love, lust, the respect, and all that stuff are one and the same, but it's not. In the perfect world, lust and love will be one and the same, and love and respect will be one and the same, but they're not. Those are two separate emotions. So we gotta be real careful on that. We that's a best case scenario. Like you hit the jackpot with like a a woman who has all her marbles and she don't make no mistakes and all that stuff, and she really just straight and narrow with you. When women have an issue admitting that I got a little hole in me, you understand? Nobody wants to disclose that. Who's going to come out here and say that? I don't know anybody's going to do that. All right. Once in a polarized relationship, how do you stay there? Understand? You stay there doing the things you did to get there. And people, listen, this is another one of those statements that people like to say, oh, he stopped doing what he did to get me. Well, if the stuff that he did to get you was a bunch of simp feminine things, that wasn't sustainable in the first place. He can't sustain that. He's going to try to because he's a simp, but it ain't going to turn you on. You ain't even going to know why what he's doing, that he been doing, and the same stuff he been doing don't tickle your fancy no more. The little feel-good moments in the honeymoon phase is over, and the real substance you want, which is his masculine energy, it don't exist because he spent the whole relationship simping after you and chasing you to the point where he don't even know how to be masculine with you or any woman per se. What's going to happen is this relationship's going to fail. He's going to go back into the dating pool, not learning anything other than trying to be a simp to solve more other simp problems. And the cycle continues. He's off to simp for another woman who don't understand how to be feminine, and he's going to maintain his simp activities and take some selfies and be on Facebook talking about my feelings and stuff, how I ain't feeling good today and all the other nonsense I see men out here doing. That's what's going to happen. So you got to do the work you did to get there, which for men is to be fortified, fortitude, and maintain and cultivate masculinity. And the work that a woman did to get there is the fortified fortitude and maintain femininity. That's the work that's going to keep you there. Nothing more. A woman can't make enough money to secure the relationship, and a man can't for that matter, really. The glue for your relationship is not your money. Now, does a masculine man have to figure out, and will he figure out how to go make some money? Absolutely. That is a masculine task. He will figure that part out. But that's not the glue that's going to hold the relationship together. The glue to hold the relationship together is not the money of itself. It's his ability to get the money. So if he has the ability to get the money, that means he has the ability to do a bunch of other things, like be a leader, be a provider, be a protector. The money itself is just the fruits of that labor. It's just a byproduct of masculinity, nothing more. The same way when a woman gonna make it, a woman making a lot of money is a byproduct of her masculinity. It's not about bad and good. It's about understanding how these energies works, so you can balance them out and you can be equally yoked, so you can actually get what you want out of life when it comes to actual relationship. That's all this is. If you're taking this information personal, you're still in the wrong energy. No man should be watching this getting his feelings about the fact that he did simp activities, and no man should watch this being in denial about his simp activities. Especially if you're still single, or especially if you're in a marriage or relationship that ain't polarized, and you know it ain't. You can feel it. Same goes for the ladies. If you're watching this show and you don't got the man you want, especially if you're an attractive woman, if you are an attractive woman and you watch this show right now and you ain't got the man you really want, like I'm talking about really, really want, then you got work to do. If that man don't take your fancy and keep your other reasons and goals every time you see him, he ain't the one for you. Leave him. Keep it moving. Go find the man you need and work on your femininity so you can actually attract that man and keep him. That's what you need to do. And if you do those things and continuously do those things, you'll never have to worry about missing out or having a bad relationship. All your relationships will be lovely, even when they don't work out. It won't be a knockdown, drag out on bad terms. It'll be like, okay, for that reason, we grew separate ways. Not because y'all grew apart, y'all still have a connection. And y'all still have a lovely interaction with each other, but just for happenstance, for that reason, you got a job situation where you had to move and you got a bunch of goals and aspirations you're working on as a woman, and y'all not married or nothing yet, then y'all just have to part ways. But y'all probably find a way to get back to each other. Somebody could potentially make a compromise and y'all can make that long distance thing work. I don't recommend it. It's very likely, even with two polarized individuals, to maintain a long distance relationship. But with enough spiritual context and enough spiritual study, you can make it work. Right? So that's pretty much our last topic for tonight before we dive into the word about it. So last time I looked this up, I couldn't find nothing because I looked for some scriptures to provide context to what does the word say about men and women being friends. Now we're about to search. What does the Bible say about sexual polarity? So it may not actually be the definition, but I'm going to see what it says about men being masculine. Let's see. Let's Google the Bible on masculinity. Okay, auto completed. What does the Bible? Oh, I couldn't find anything about friends, but I found something about Bible masculinity real quick. Understand me? It's right there at the top. I couldn't find nothing for friends, but masculinity popped right on the top. Understand me? Hey, it's just amazing how this stuff work, huh? I ain't making this up, y'all. Y'all can go. If you don't trust me, you go to Google and look it up. Go, open up your tablet or wherever you watch this on right now. Go type in Bible and male and women being friends, and type in Bible and men and on masculinity, and then we about to look up Bible on femininity, which is basically the two parts of sexual polarity. I don't think sexual polarity might not be something that's a trait to, but we might search that one too. We're gonna do masculinity and femininity first, but we go see what it says about femininity too. What does the Bible say about masculinity? Oh, we got a bunch of scriptures in. We got a whole bunch of scriptures on that. We couldn't find none. We scrolling for days. The whole book in the damn Bible is about masculinity, look like. But we couldn't find one verse about men and women friends, could we? Lord have mercy. Look at God. The Lord will provide, understand me? I'm like, hey, if I wasn't getting this from the word, man, I wouldn't. If it wasn't for the word, I wouldn't be speaking on this stuff. This whole character and stuff is real, but the basis of this show is about the word. That's the basis of the show. So everything I speak to, the thing is, I never even looked this up. I already knew it was in there already. Without you having to tell me, I knew masculinity was in the Bible pertaining to men. Why? Because God said so. That's why. You ain't got to be a Bible scholar to understand how the word works. That's people got that stuff messed up too. They think, oh, you ain't qualified, man. You ain't got to know the whole Bible front to back to be qualified to speak to it. I'm just going to start in the first thing. Deuteronomy 22:5. A woman shall not wear a man's garment, nor shall a man put on a woman's cloak. Well, whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord your God. I'm not gonna dive into that one. That's what's the first verse that popped up, man. But hey, the alphabet community go do what they do. I still think it's about the energy. Some of this stuff in the Bible, hey, you can take it how you want to take it. 1 Corinthians 16:13. Be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. Genesis. Oh, it's early on. Genesis 2:21. Genesis 1:27. Understand me? God so created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. Basically, you got roles. Understand me? We go read one more. 1 Timothy 5:8. But if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for members of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than unbeliever. So if you can't take care of your house, man, you are a sinner. You are a backslider. Understand me? It's right here in the word. Understand me? Now let's see what it says about femininity. Understand me? We know it's in there. We know it's in there. We can't find nothing about the Bible on friends. We find masculinity and femininity real quick. A whole book look like. Wee. Bible on femininity. Google. Womanhood, right? Once again, femininity, womanliness, right? Once again, same thing. A whole bunch of scriptures. We couldn't find nothing about men and women friends, but we found a whole bunch about womanliness and masculinity. So let's read. Let's get into the word now. Like I said, these ain't my rules, y'all. This is what God says for us to do. Period. Proverbs 14:1. The wisest of women builds her house, but folly with her own hands tears it down. But I don't understand that one. My bad. Somebody might need to look that one up for me. Proverbs 14:1. I need a translation. All right. Proverbs 11:22. Like a gold ring in a pig's snout is a beautiful woman without discretion. Ooh wee. That's a strong one. Let me read that one again. Like a gold ring in a pig's snout is a beautiful woman without discretion. So you out here doing all these sideways selfies. You out here doing it for the gram. You out here popping, locking, dropping it. You are like a gold ring in a pig's snout. That's what you are, young lady. When you out here trying to do your sideways selfie and bust it wide open, understand me? These ain't my words, it's the word of God. You ain't gotta like it. Proverbs 31, 1 through 10. An excellent wife, who can I find? She is more precious than jewels. Heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not harm in all days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and works with willing hands. She is like the ships of the merchant. She brings her food from afar. It seems like she getting that work in, understand me? Being useful and feminine, understand? Like I said on Miss G show the other night, and they kicked me off. They was mad because I was coming with that real game, understand me? They weren't trying to hear it. They weren't trying to hear a pimp speak because I'm coming with that truth, understand me? The world don't want the truth, not yet. They ain't ready for it. We go get there though. We go say the world, one simp and one alpha female at a time. We go say the world, understand me? With the word of God, understand? He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor in the Lord. So we need to read stuff before that, right? So that's that one we told we need more context in. Proverbs 19 and 14. House and wealth are inherited from fathers. But a prudent wife is from the Lord. Hey, a good wife is a blessing, but she got to be a good wife, not just a woman. We're going to read one more, y'all. Let's go back to Genesis. To the woman, he said, I will surely multiply your pain in childbearing, and pain you shall bring forth children. Your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you. So, once upon a time, in your divine femininity, the Lord looked at you as equal to the man. But since you want to be masculine, since you want to be doing things your way, the Lord took you down a notch or two, young lady. It's just a word, man. So if women would have stayed freedom, we might still be in the Garden of Eden. If Adam would have maintained his masculinity, we might still be in the Garden of Eden right now. Who knows? Somebody would have messed it up along the way, I'm pretty sure. But who knows? You know, only thing we can do as humans nowadays is figure out how to live right and live by these words. Like I said, I tried to look up the Bible on Friends, didn't find nothing. I looked up the Bible on masculinity, found a whole book. Look up the Bible on femininity, find a whole book. Who y'all arguing with now? Is it who you got the problem with? You got the problem with the Lord and the word that God says what you do? If you got a problem with the Lord, I got a problem with you. I don't walk with people who got a problem with the Lord. You need to get right so you can live right. Look good, feel good, play good, pay good, pay good, life good. Understand me? Prime time, baby. What's that? Prime time, baby. Hold on, let me go to music. We about to get up out here, baby. Prime time, baby. You know what I'm saying? We about to get up out here, y'all. It's been a good show, man. I hope that y'all learned something. I gave y'all that game, man. Y'all can't say y'all wasn't blessed tonight, man. If you watch this show all the way to the end, you got a blessing. Understand me? You need to take this information, apply it, live the life that the Lord put you on the earth to live, man. Go out here, be great, man. Go out here and help somebody. Understand me? It's gonna come back to you, man. Trust me. If you live right, you get yourself properly polarized, man. Everything you want in your heart's desire when it comes to men and women, go come to you tenfold. I am living proof of that, man. With that said, man, like, share, and subscribe, man. Spread the good word, man. We on our way, baby. We only been doing this a couple months, and it's already getting pretty good traction, man. So y'all stay with us, y'all bear with us. I appreciate all the support so far, man. All I'm trying to do is save the world, man. One podcast at a time, man. One show at a time, man. That's all I'm trying to do. I don't mean no harm, man. I learned some good information. I want to give it back to y'all, and that's all this is, man. Nothing more. I may say things a little harsh, but I'm trying real hard to keep this show on a PG level where everybody can process the information and not go the way of like a Kevin Samuels or something. I'm not trying to go down that route. There's no need to be up here calling people names and stuff, man. We just get the information, and I want to back up everything I say with some scriptures. And everything I'm not even looking at the word. I'm just putting it at the end. I didn't look up none of them scriptures before. I just put it on there like, hey, what's the spiritual context of the friend zone of men and women being friends? Didn't find no verses. And I say, what's the spiritual context of men being masculine and women being feminine? Find the whole book. Come on now. That's it, baby. I'm a part of this thing, man. Keep that dip in your chip, man. Make sure it's nice and creamy. Understand me? And I'll see y'all boys next time. I'll see y'all ladies and gentlemen next time, baby. It's been a pleasure. And we out this thing, baby.